Over the years, there's been plenty of Batman Arkham figures, but none of them really gained my interest. So I've been without a figure of my favorite Batman iteration. But then, Revoltech decided to make a Batman based off his look from Arkham Knight, and I'm gonna be real, the promo pics really didn't give me that hype. They really just underwhelmed me. The main reason being that the Batman looked really thick, like too thick, which I know Arkham Batman is swole, but damn, he didn't have lunch lady arms. But despite it being underwhelming and not quite what I envisioned, I still cop it. Which I know, it sounds crazy, copping a figure that you really don't think looks the best, but with these Revoltechs, all the promo pics sorta tend to be like that, and when people get this figure in hand, they instantly look 100 times better. So, is this figure actually better in hand? Before we start the review, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Batman's box is the current style that the Yamaguchi figures get, which is honestly just boring to me.
Boring!
The old boxes were so damn clean and goated, so I really hope they can bring back their cool boxes with the windows on them one day. The box does at least do its job, as it shows plenty of promo images of the figure all throughout the box, though I would like the windows so I can see the figure inside. The box really isn't anything special, but hopefully the figure inside is.
It's the freaking best!
I am here to say this figure is way better in person, as he has so many good things going on about him that make him so damn good. But sadly, he does have a lot of bad things to go with it. To start off with, I think he looks great. The likeness in the face is pretty damn good for an amazing Yamaguchi figure, because we all know that these figures can have faces that don't really capture the character's likeness well. So it's good that this figure does it well. Now, if you have this guy and the eyes on yours are cross-eyed, don't worry, the eyes are movable so you can fix that, and I'll show you how to do so now. First off, you need to pop Batman's face off and grab this white plastic piece that comes with the figure. It's a tool that is used to move the eyes around, and I really wish I could say getting the eyes centered and right is a cakewalk, but damn is it tedious. It took me a while to get the eyes finally centered, and I still don't think I had them perfectly centered, but it's good enough for me.
What?
Now, if you don't want to center the eyes or just flat out don't like how Batman looks with his eyes being shown, you can just roll the eyes back to where they are fully whited out, which does look pretty damn sick. Movable eyes are still pretty cool, despite it being tedious to move them all around, since it does allow for more posing options, and I really think I'm starting to understand it now. Then to carry on with his likeness, let's talk about his size and proportions. To the source, it really isn't the best. He's really short and stumpy, which, to be fair, the majority of his body looks good size-wise. It's just his lower limb area. It's really small and doesn't flow with the rest of the body. It bugged me a little at first, but after posing for a while, I did get used to it. But if you just can't stand his tiny calves, then you can buy some replacement lower limbs that are taller so you can fix this issue. I actually ordered some from Slow Ship Customs, which ran me about $18 total. So when they come in, we will see how much of a difference they make. Also, in the promos, his arms were really lunch lady-like, but in person, they look a lot better. And one more thing I'd like to mention about his proportions, this is an amazing Yamaguchi design, and the figure's designs aren't always accurate to the source, as he adds his own twist on them, which I like because it does make these figures really unique, but the some I notice can deter them from the figure. Now, I really want to talk about the amazing detailing and paintwork this figure has. The paint on the armor pieces is a nice metallic gunmetal gray. It looks really damn good and is painted very cleanly. Shit, I knew this motherfucker's paint was about to be good when I opened him up and he was covered in all those plastic pieces that help prevent paint bleeding. The paint on his areas that don't have armor on them also have a really nice finish on them. Then he has an insane amount of detailing. The bat symbol looks good, even though the outer chest plates do overlap onto it, but that is why they did carry the design over it, which doesn't look that bad. Then his chest, forearms, and boot area are nicely sculpted with plenty of neat little details on them. Then around his lower midsection, arms, and legs, he has like some mesh detailing, which looks good. His belt area is also nicely detailed and sculpted well, but the belt overall bothers me with how the sides of it is connected to the side of his body. I get why they did it so it doesn't hinder any articulation, but it just doesn't look that good when it's just floating upwards and it's not even connecting to the middle of the belt. Now, I know you guys see this beautiful cape, and let me just say, it's as good as it looks. It's literally the best cape I've ever had on an action figure before. It consists of 9 bendy wires that allow you so much creative freedom with it. I am so damn happy it wasn't a plastic jointed cape like the first Robo Batman they did. Now, there's been people who have been taking shoulder pads off for the cape to get some more range, and if you want to do that, that's fine, but I'm not doing that because I'm satisfied with how it is. And speaking of the shoulder pads, be careful with them. I've heard of them falling off on so many people's copies or just flat out not coming connected, which definitely sucks. So please be aware of this and be careful when moving his arms and cape around because you don't want to break the shoulder pads off. So please be aware that his shoulder pads are not on any kind of joint and are cemented into his shoulders. Thankfully with my copy though, I haven't ran into any issues with the shoulder pads yet, so knock on wood that I don't ever run into any. But I have ran into an issue of his left bicep swivel literally being stuck and won't move. It's not like the greatest hindrance though, because even on the arm that the bicep swivel works, it really doesn't do much, and the rotation at the shoulder is enough to suffice. Oh, and it's like every time I get a Revoltech, one of these lat joints are always stuck, so that's definitely some ass that only one of them moves. Okay, phew, that was a lot. So pretty much he looks really damn good despite his problems and proportions, but sadly he does have a fair amount of QC issues. And you guys know what else is sad? The accessories. The reason I say his accessories are sad is because the regular release only comes with one faceplate, so that is lame as heck. What kind of import figure only comes with one faceplate? Especially one that retails for as much as this one does. And to make things worse is that you can get an angry faceplate with this figure if you pay extra. Yep, you can pay extra for a bonus faceplate. This is legit so damn lame. Like, why make an angry face a bonus face? This should be included in the base figure. Legit makes me so damn sick. I can understand a special effect piece or something being a bonus part, but a freaking faceplate? No way. Especially since this figure only comes with one freaking faceplate. This is just sorry and lame. But to get on with the review, the angry face does look good and does have the movable eyes, so you can have the eyes look in whatever direction you choose. He then comes with 2 fisted hands, 2 holding something hands, 2 open hands, and then 1 grapple line hand. The grapple line hand looks really good and is painted pretty well. And what makes his hand really cool is that you can pop the top part off and then put his grapple hook line accessory on. This is a damn good accessory. It looks really badass and has been a lot of fun playing with. He then comes with 2 batarangs, 1 normal one and 1 remote one. Then he comes with 2 different remote hacking devices, 1 folded and 1 open. And to go with these hacking devices, Batman comes with little screens that shows the different things he uses with these hackers in the game. They all look good and they all come with this plastic film over them, so be sure to take that off. Also, to put these into the hacking device, he comes with this little plastic piece that plugs into the device and it has a little slits where you put the screens in. And lastly, he comes with a stand which plugs into his little butthole. Overall, for the accessories, I'll give it a rating of 7 out of 10, mainly for the lack of faceplates and the angry face being a bonus accessory, because everything else I'm satisfied with, even though a grapple gun or some sticky bomb spray would have been badass. So now, let's take a look at his articulation. Batman's articulation is not as smooth as some of the recent Revoltechs, as it does have some limitations and issues. But despite that, he can still pose pretty good. To begin with, this head can look really far upwards, and it can look this far downwards. It can look side to side and gets a fair amount of head tilt. Despite having his shoulder pads and a cape, his arms can still go a decent pretty ways upwards, though I wouldn't push it too far since there is a chance of it breaking off, and the same goes for rotating at the shoulder, so please be careful when moving the arms around. Then, as I mentioned earlier, he has a bicep swivel, but the left arm on mine is stuck. His elbows get a good amount of flexion, and he has good wrist movement. Then for the butterfly joint thing that Revoltech has, the right side on mine moves fluidly and fine, but the left side is stuck and doesn't move at all. His upper diaphragm joint works really well, as he can crunch a good ways forward and gets a good amount of side to side motion and tilt. His waist is on the ball joint and works fine, though it is a little bit stiff. His legs are something I definitely have an issue with. They are really hard to move, and if you push it too hard, they'll pop off. And it's like this no matter what direction you move the legs in, so it's honestly a pain. Like, I can barely get the legs to kick hardly any at all forwards and backwards. At least they can go a decent bit outwards. He has a thigh swivel, knees that get a good amount of bend, he has a swivel at the boot, decent ankle articulation, and a toe joint. Overall, this Batman has a fair amount of issues with his articulation that's mainly because of poor QC, as well as a few not ideal design choices. His articulation I give like a 7.5 out of 10, because the issues it has really brings it down. Now, I mentioned earlier, he is a little stumpy, so let's see how he looks next to some other figures. First, here is Batman next to Revoltech 2.0 Spider-Man. They are roughly the same height, which really doesn't work for me, but damn, they do look good next to each other. Here is Batman next to Thor, and they're around the same height also. Here he is next to the Mayfix Bane. These two scale fairly well next to each other, it's just that the styles of these figs don't really match well. Here he is next to the SH3 Arts and Justice Joker, which I think looks pretty damn good. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Wolverine. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends movie Deadpool. Here he is next to Demoniacal Fit Goku. And lastly, here he is next to Storm Collectibles Yujiro Okay, overall with this figure, there's a lot of mixed feelings. Like, there's a lot I love about it and a lot I don't. It's a shame, because this really is a beautiful figure, but damn, the QC issues that my copy and many other copies have is just inexcusable and disappointing. This is a very expensive figure, so I expect there to be little to no issues, so it's just ass. And the figure only coming with one faceplate is so detrimental to this release, because I'm pretty sure the bonus face was just a pre-order only thing, so if you want it, you're going to have to look for it on the aftermarket. I really hope some third-party company takes a crack at making some face for this Batman, because it's badly needed. And as for the issue with his stumpiness, it honestly really stopped bothering me the more I play with him, but I definitely still plan on fixing it with the replacement parts. It is crazy to me though that despite a lot of the issues it has, I still really enjoy this figure. I mean, he looks amazing with his good likeness, paint, and detail. Then his cape is just freaking amazing and makes this figure so much more fun. But with the amount of pros and cons this figure has, it's really hard for me to recommend this figure to y'all. I'd say if you are a major fan of the Arkham series and are willing to gamble on getting a good copy or not, go for it, but if not, then don't. I do have the Japanese release, so the US release might be better, so I'll link the US release in the description below. That's it for this one, guys. For those of you who are still watching, you guys enjoyed the non-anime reviews? Huge thanks for y'all watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see all y'all in the next one. I'm Batman.